Today we're going to learn conditionals. These are sentences that we use to talk about results and situations. What happens if something else happens? You already use them in everyday life. Now we're going to understand how they work. Grammar. When do we use each of the conditionals? We use the zero conditional for general truths, facts, things that are always true, like routines and rules. We use the first conditional for real situations in the future, possible situations in the future, or when planning. We use the second conditional for unreal situations in the present or the future, imaginary situations in the present or the future, unlikely situations in the present or the future. Grammar structure. Positive sentences. For the zero conditional we use if, the present simple, and the present simple. For the first conditional we use if, the present simple, and will and the base verb. For the second conditional we use if, the past simple, would, and the base verb. Here are examples for each one. If it rains, I stay home. This sounds like a habit or something you always do. If it rains, I will stay home. This is about a real situation in the future. If it rained, I would stay home. This sounds hypothetical, like you're imagining the situation. Grammar structure for negative sentences. For the zero conditional we use if, the present simple, do or does not, and the base verb. For the first conditional we use if, present simple, will not or won't, plus the base verb. For the second conditional we use if, past simple, would not or wouldn't, and the base verb. Here are some examples. If I don't eat junk food, I don't feel sick. You can also say, if I don't eat junk food, I lose weight. If I don't eat junk food, I won't feel sick. You can also say, if I don't eat junk food, I will lose weight. If I didn't eat junk food, I wouldn't feel sick. Or you can say, if I didn't eat I would lose weight. Here's the grammar structure for questions. For the zero conditional we start with do or does, plus the subject and the base verb. For the first conditional we start with will, the subject and the base verb. And for the second conditional we start with would, the subject and the base verb. Here are some examples. What happens if you mix red and blue? What do you get when you freeze water? What will happen if you boil water? Will you come to my party if I invite you? What would you do if you won the lottery? Would you travel if you had more money? Now we're going to practice the zero conditional. If I wake up late, I feel stressed. If I skip breakfast, I get hungry at school. If my teacher gives me homework, I don't have time to play. If I don't understand something, I ask questions. If I don't study, I get bad grades. My day goes well if I follow my routine. How does he feel if he is late? Does he play if he has homework? Does he get A+ if he doesn't study? Now we're going to practice the first conditional. If I wake up early tomorrow, I will go for a run. If I have time, I will finish my homework. If my friends invite me, I will go out with them. If it rains, I will stay at home. If I study tonight, I will do well on the test. I will feel happy if everything goes as planned. Will she go for a walk if she wakes up at 11 a.m.? Will she get A+ on the exam if she doesn't study? Where will she stay if it rains? Read the following sentences and choose the correct word. When studying conditionals, the biggest mistake that students make is trying to memorize the rules without noticing the logic behind them. Focus on these key ideas instead. If you want to talk about something that is always true, use the zero conditional. If the topic is a real future possibility, use the first conditional. If you are imagining or talking about something unlikely, you use the second conditional. You can also keep in mind the verb pattern. For the zero conditional is present and present. For the first conditional is present and will. And for the second conditional is asked and would. Train your ears with the contrasts. If I study, I pass. This is a habit. If I study, I will pass. This is the real future. If I studied, I would pass. This is an imaginary situation. Seeing this side by side can help you making everything click faster. Always remember, English improves when you use it.